Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for joining me. I have checked in a few minutes early and I was just reading this book. This is a story. This is a book by Osho, A Cup of Tea. The Cup of Tea. I read this very often. I read this very often to get messages. And look at this, the page that opens up. What does it say? It is actually talking of a story, and I'm going to read that story out to you. Just be with me. Mullah Nasruddin was searching for something on the ground. "What have you lost, Mullah?" Someone who saw him searching asked. "My key," said the Mullah. So they both went down on their knees and looked for it. After a time, the other man asked, where exactly did you drop it?" "In my house," said Mullah. "Then why are you looking here?" "Well, there is more light here than inside my house." Aren't we doing the same thing? Looking for something that we lost inside, in the outside. Looking for something which belongs to us, which we came with, and which shall always be there eternally. But somewhere we believe we have lost it. So this, I think, sets the tone for this evening's live session. Now, I have a little challenge. I have never had a one-way conversation. I love to converse. I love to get questions. I love to have people seeking clarifications. So, can we develop upon this theme by you writing in your comments your perspective to what I read for you, your questions if any, your answers if any. I have a belief that mind asks questions and has no answer. However, love has no question and is the answer. So let me wait for a few minutes before we take forward. So I see Sandhya is here. Shobha, hi Shobha, how are you? Rita, hi Rita. Srinivas, great to have you here. Self-realization, we'll come to that as we go forward. Hey Rahul, what's up? Where are you logged in? Are you in India or you're from US? Okay, so yeah, Sachin, hi. Yes, sir, I'm there with you. Sachin, we were talking about looking for things that we have lost inside in the outside. And just before I started this live session, I read in my inbox a news item which said 56,000 people have been laid off by a few companies in the IT industry. Now, I'm not going by the news because news is always news. We take it with a pinch of salt. Maybe the media has some ulterior motive in reporting this. I believe that every year the bottom layer of non-performers are removed, and I don't think media has made any hue and cry in the past few years, but for some reason they are making a lot of. This is not the first news item. I see many such items in LinkedIn. Technological unemployment, disruption of digitalization, such wonderful themes I read. So I'm not going by what media is reporting. But I'm talking about even if it is 5 people who have been laid off, even if it is 1 person who has been laid off, in our minds, what is it all about? What is it all about when this guy, with full of aspiration, joined a company looking for a future, and suddenly he gets laid off, guy or girl or whatever it is? Well, this takes me back to exactly about 7 years when I started my journey as a transformational enabler. That was another time when, because of a downturn, people were being laid off right, left and center. And a few of them had approached me. I had just stepped out of the IT industry after a 16-17 years stint, and they thought it might be a good idea to approach me and see if I can help them with a job. There were about 5-6 of them. I don't know if anyone from them is here in the chat. No. And I said, okay, let me see, I'll get back to you. Now, it pained me a hell of a lot. It pained me a hell of a lot because from one single company, which was then one of the most prized telecom companies, there were 200 people from the, I would say, middle level who were sacked. And it's not very easy for people at middle and senior level to get jobs. So I was looking at it from a sustenance perspective, from a livelihood perspective, and I slept over it. Guess what? When I woke up in the morning, I woke up with the question that if I get them another job, if I help them to get another job, if I put them across to somebody who I knew in the industry, what is the guarantee that they are not sacked tomorrow again? And even if they are not sacked, what is the guarantee that they will get what they are looking for? Looking for recognition, looking for relevance, looking for reward, looking for meaning, looking for knowledge. Srinivas may be looking for self-realization too. What is all this all about? So I went back to those people and I said, look, I'm not so sure whether I would like to, even if I can, put you across to people who can help you get jobs. However, I can help you to find out for yourself what is that unmanifested part of you. What is that part of you which you are carefully hiding deep inside just to please others, and maybe in being able to discover that, you may be able to discover a new reality. We fixed up a date. I called them in my house. I said, come in the morning. It was a potluck. They came with packets of lunch, juice, knickknacks, snacks, whatever. I think there were about 12 of them. And through the day, I don't know how it happened. I don't know what tools, what methods I used, but I only knew that I came with a fierce, sharp, focused commitment that at the end of the day, I must help these people to figure out 2 things. One is, as human beings, they have the power to make choices. And number 2, they are much, much more powerful than what they think they are, or what they try to project to the world as. At the end of the intense session, during the session, many people broke down to see in their face they were so much more potentially powerful. In course of the session, people figured out that it's an absolute waste trying to move from one job to the other. Some of them actually went ahead and crafted out what would be their next enterprise. I still remember there was this lady who was a homemaker, but she was not very satisfied being a homemaker. She felt that there was a lot more that she could do, and she realized for herself that she was not only a great dramatist, but she was also a great teacher, and she would like to take over teaching children drama and theatre. It was a turning point for me in life more than them. It was for the first time I've heard lectures of Vivekananda where he says that in Buddha lies an amoeba evolved, and in an amoeba there is a Buddha involved. For the first time realized that in the continuum of this journey for us, from being an amoeba, which was the first single-celled organism in this world, to being able to manifest the Buddha self, we are somewhere there. And if I could help people to move a notch up in this course of evolution, I guess I have not helped them, I've helped myself. Because every time this has happened, I have realized there was something that I was not acknowledging in myself. There was something that I was hiding. There was something that I was, trying to make people happy, feel happy about. This is a very interesting thing. I'm sure you would have heard the story of the donkey being taken to the marketplace for being sold. The father and the son carrying the donkey to the village, to the marketplace to be sold. And as they were carrying, and the villagers looked at them and laughed. Look at them, they carry the donkey. The donkey is walking on the foot, and they're also walking on the foot. They might as well ride the donkey. And they said, yeah, I think that's a great idea. So both father and son went on to the donkey, and a little while from there, another guy looked at them. Look at them, how cruel they are. One animal and two of them are sitting on the back of the animal. This is not fair. And they said, okay, maybe son, the father said, you ride the donkey and I'll get down. Further down, somebody said, look at the son, so shameless. Old father walking, son sitting on the donkey. Son got down, father got up. Further down, somebody said, look at the father, so shameless. Little child walking, old father on the donkey, so on and so forth, till they decided that they will carry the donkey on the back. In our endeavor to make people happy, we are carrying these donkeys on our back. And these donkeys are coming in the way of the amoeba becoming the Buddha. These donkeys are coming in the way of our transformation. You go to work, come back home. If I ask you, why do you do it? You will say, that's a responsibility. I will challenge you today. Go back to your loved ones. Ask them, are you really, really responsible? Ask them. Don't create your own mind-made illusion. Are you really, really responsible for their well-being, their livelihood? You'll be shocked to get their answers. Don't fool yourselves. Don't fool yourselves. You have always choices to make. When I started on my own, trust me, that was 98, 99 was my last stint in the corporate. 99 March, I left the corporate, and much against the wish of my parents, my elder sisters, They all felt it's a big blunder that I am doing. I will not be able to sustain myself. I had a family to take care of. I knew that what they were saying was perhaps right. But something was so compelling. One, there was a push. I was fed up. I was fed up being a humanoid. I was fed up faking, carrying masks with me. I was fed up of making people happy. So that was the push. And there was a great pull. There was something inside me which was telling me that there's something much more meaningful that I'm meant to be doing. So I went to the bank, looked up my balance, realized that 6 months if I don't earn, I can still sustain myself and my family. And I stepped out, much against the advice, loving, friendly advice of my friends, my elders, my family. And lo and behold, many of us would know who have lived around that time. 9/11 happened, economy crashed, and I was left scratching the bottom for about a year. Now, if you ask me, was that a right decision or a wrong decision? I don't know. I'm still work in progress. How do I know? However, if I don't look at the destination, if I look at the journey, I can vouch for one thing. Most moments of my life, from then onwards, up until now, as I'm speaking to you, I have lived by choice. I have not lived because of the donkeys that I'm carrying on my back. And as far as possible, can't see me live. Who's that? You can hear me live? Whoever it is. I can't see you. Sid, hear me. But I think I am live, and I'm seen live also. Just one sec, guys. Sid is a beloved friend of mine, and he can't see me live, so I'm trying to see. Can you see me live?
I have invited him, so I don't.
Okay. Maybe there's a delay, and you will get to see me very soon. Yeah. So now, then onwards, it's been a very explorative, it's been a very adventurous journey. I remember the first few days, it was so strange. I didn't have an SAP to look back upon. I didn't have a paycheck. I knew at the end of the month I will not get a paycheck. I knew that, well, I didn't have a bank account where I can dip in my debit card, and I had a couple of high valued credit cards to dip in and get some cash in hand. So, it was a slightly awkward, uncomfortable, but then the trade-off was great, because the sense of freedom, in fact the sense of freedom was so awe-inspiring. I really didn't know what to do with the space that I certainly seem to have attained by freeing myself of my own shackles of greed or elusive needs, or the belief that I am responsible, or the belief that I'm making somebody happy and not making myself happy, all that, whatever. So I explored, I adventured, and it took me about a year to realize that deep inside me lies tremendous potential to go about and touch lives of people. Digital was the first organization which trusted me, and they called upon me to work with their project managers and help them to become project coaches. I guess there's a challenge with the bandwidth. Can you guys hear me? Are we there? Can I have at least one? Because on my system I see myself live. Maybe I'll start again. No, okay. Yeah, Shrupa says yes. Shrupa, you can see me? Can you hear me? Okay, so we need to live with these bandwidth issues. We talk about digitalization, but reality is very different. We are still human beings struggling to come out of our limited self to our evolved self. So in today's conversation, what seems to be evolving, what seems to be emerging, you remember the story that I read right at the beginning, is what is stopping us from going in. I remember only yesterday I was talking to one of my proteges. He's a very senior manager with one of the large diversified groups in India, and he has a tremendous resistance of going in. He's always reporting things which are happening around me. He's always pointing all his 10 fingers and maybe even 10 toes outside and blaming the world for all the things that are happening. Now, that is one thing which I think came to me very early, much before when I knew all this about human transformation, awakening and or self-realization. I don't know, for whatever happened, right from the time maybe I was in college, I used to ask myself, if there was something that was happening with me, around me, another person doing something to me, I will ask this question to me: what have I done because of which this is happening to me? I don't know, why is it so difficult to ask this question? Why is it so difficult to take ownership of the realities that I am in today? I mean, you can argue till the cows come back home that it is the President of USA or the Prime Minister of India or the Chief Minister or ex-Chief Minister of Delhi and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, one thing that does not get nullified is that of unity of consciousness. There is an illusory sense of separation between me and the other, between me and the situation. But if you look at life closely, if you look at life meditatively, you will find actually there is no separation. You are the situation, you are the other. The other is exactly reflecting what you need to see. The situation is reflecting what you need to see. There comes that 3-letter word, ego. The mind-made concept of yourself, which you call as an ego. Well, you're not responsible. It grew up along with you. It grew up based on certain assumptions, certain perceptions, certain conditionings that you unconsciously manufactured, your mind manufactured for yourself. But the question I have, that was in childhood. Why are you lugging it today? So are you saying you have not grown? Are you saying you're still a child? You love remaining a child, that powerless, helpless, small, maybe even worthless, limited child? You love being that, pitied by others, condescended by others? Well, as I said, as human beings, you are gifted with choice. No other creature and animal has been gifted with the gift of choice. You choose to remain where you are. And trust me, nature takes care of that. 56,000, 5,000 or 5,60,000 dead leaves will fall because nature wants healthy leaves to be nourished by these dead leaves providing nourishment. Nature does not understand manufactured sympathy. Nature does not understand society. Nature only understands two things. It understands that consciousness, Purush, that was sleeping in nature, is waiting to be awakened in man. Prakriti and Purush. It also understands that if man does not make a choice to manifest his destiny, maybe he has chosen to perish. Yes, this is a part of human evolution. Many a people, they mock me, they jeer me. You talk about human transformation. Do you know what was my appraisal rating last time? Do you know I haven't got a promotion for the last 3 years? I just smile at them and come back, sometimes with tears in my eyes, knowing that it's a child speaking. It is saying that my parent has not acknowledged me. But how long will you lug your child? Can you set itself free? You are grown up now. You can make choices. You can discern. And most importantly, you can go in and take charge of your inner reality. Take charge of all that you are seeking outside. Switch on the light. Switch on the light of awareness. And you will see the universe inside. Because every drop is the ocean. I have seen it. In moments of connectedness, in moments of oneness, I can't describe those experiences. It has made me bring in faith. It has made me live with fear. It has made me look out for connection when I have had a crisis of faith. And trust me, it has all happened because I chose to go in. So I think I have spoken for a very long time. If you have questions, I'll take a few questions and maybe we'll have a little bit of conversations. We need to perhaps lighten the mood a little. I think I made it a little serious. Am I right, Shurupa? I can see you there. Are you guys with me? Whatever I'm saying, does it make sense to you? So, before I sign off, can I hear a few of you sharing with all of us one thing that you would like to do differently, or one perspective, a different perspective you would like to hold for life after this conversation? Because my life's journey is all about that part of me which is there, out there in you. Can I integrate that also with me in my journey? My entire journey is about that. Nothing can make me more happy than to see us integrated, than to see us moving together, than to see us claiming the choice making that we can, than to see us manifest that awesomeness that is waiting to be manifested. So can I hear a few responses, please? Hey Aprup, you came in almost around the time when I was signing off, and I had asked the audience to put forward some question, and I would struggle and attempt to answer them. Do you have a question for me? This is pure water, in case you have any doubt. Thank you, Aprup. Hi to you. We started with this news item which appeared in Indian media. I don't know whether you've read it, that 56,000 engineers have been sacked from different companies in India. And I take media with a pinch of salt, because media always has an ulterior motive. That's number one. Number two, numbers are not confirmed. And number three, I think every year the lower stack of non-performers are cleared, and I think that's a very, very healthy sign for most organizations, because after all organizations are organisms. So like we kind of let go of toxins from our body in different ways, organizations also need to do it. But the question that I brought up then was, why is it that I choose to be sacked? I put myself in the shoe of that person. And then I shared my story. Aprup, you are aware of that story. 98, 99. As we have not invested, we have harvested. No sowing of seeds. So wonderfully said. Aprup, you so wonderfully said. But what I am trying to say, in China, millions of seeds have been found, which have been there for many, many years and have not sprouted. I repeat, the seed is not a promise of a fruit. The seed is just a possibility. I'm talking of us human beings as seed. If we need to bear fruit, we need to allow the top cover of the seed to go away. We need to allow ourselves to be ripped open. We need to allow our cover of the seed, which is nothing but the ego, to be shed. And trust me, it is these seeds which are going into these organizations, and I call them pseudo human beings or humanoids. If you have noticed the way they walk as if they are sleepwalking. The way they talk is as if they are sleep talking, or I often see them as somnambulists or somnoloquists. So it had to happen, according to me, because nature does not expect human beings to take on the role of a humanoid. The first principle, the universal principle, in Sufi philosophy, it's believed that your beloved is waiting for the lover to unite, but the lover is trying to become so many other things. Forget union. So there is some correction that needs to happen, because at the end of the day, the equilibrium cannot be disturbed. Am I right, Aprup? I am taking a systemic view to things, and I think at the end of the day, that's what matters. We can play with the waves and come back home with nothing, or we can deep dive inside the ocean to find treasures which we can't even imagine could have been there. So that's another thing that I would request all of us. Let's not delve with the symptoms or the strategic meaning of things. Strategy changes, but the truth never. As a matter of fact, all strategies a manifestation of one immutable truth. I don't know what that truth is. I have experienced it. If you want to dive deep, leave the symptoms behind, leave the compulsion to make a deck of slides and present it to unmindful people as much as the unmindful presenter is presenting it, just to spend some time and to create some noise. Ultimately, it's all about noise. Let's not get stuck with that. There is more meaning in silence than in the noise. There is more meaning in the depth than on the surface. Trust me, there is a joy in getting drowned. I know you fear getting drowned. I know you are surfacing and you are justifying why you're not wanting to wet your skin. You're justifying with so many other things, including the position that you hold in the society. What will your neighbors say? What will your wife say? What will your investors say? Bullshit. All that is BS. Go deep down. Nobody is responsible for your evolution but for yourself. And tomorrow they will not come to save you from perishment if you are not doing that. I'm promising you that. I have seen many living deads all around me. ये मुर्दों का शहर है. Kabir wrote about it many years back. It is so true today. Listen to it if possible and make good sense prevail. May you all stay alive. May you all love. And may I be there to love you all for many more years. Thank you so much. Meet you next Saturday again at 9. Till then, have a fantastic week ahead. Thank you.